like chicken and pickle. Good food, good friends, great fun. Also brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. And by Credit Human, the official credit union of the UTSA Roadrunners. Now, with head coach Jeff Traylor, here's the voice of the Roadrunners, Andy Everett.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Jeff Traylor Radio Show, the Bowl edition, as UTSA gets set to take on Coastal Carolina coming up next Monday. It'll be an early game, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, 10 o'clock here, and we'll get everything going, tell you all about that in a little bit. Jeff Traylor joins us. We're out here at Chicken and Pickle at UTSA Boulevard in Vance Jackson. It's presented by UT Health San Antonio. Bowl season again. We're getting used to this. 5 years in a row. That's pretty cool.
It was looking pretty slim there for a while, so yeah.
I had faith in you.
We're excited to be there. We really are.
Talk about that, because I think that gets overlooked. You know, there's the blue blood programs that seemingly are always either in the postseason some way, but not a lot of college football teams can say they've been to a bowl game 5 straight years.
Yeah, it's something that I tried to remind everybody when we were on that great run of winning multiple 10, 11, 12 win seasons.
Yeah.
That stuff's rare. It's hard to do. And, we gave back some of those games this year that we've been winning in the past 4 years, all the one-possession games. So it was a good dose of reality for all of us, and humbled us greatly. And we played really good football the last 6 weeks, and it's a good time to be playing good football.
Yeah, you go back, I know when we were 3-5, you're like, oh, okay, what's this season going to look like? And then November comes around, and just like most Novembers, this team was confident, they felt good, and I know you did, and then you get the win against Memphis and snowball that into North Texas and Temple. A tough game at Army, but played well, and you like that trajectory that this team's on.
Yeah, I mean, if we're all being honest, we probably thought we were going to be 3-9 if you looked at what it looked like. It was an unbelievable turnaround. The hope I did have, my kids still came to practice every day. They had a great attitude. They had their notepads. They had they didn't have smiles on their faces, but they were really excited to be at practice. So I did feel like we still had our best ball out in front of us. We've been lucky because our line has stayed together now. That group got in shambles early in the year, losing Lopez and then losing, Vinley and losing Mackay. But we kind of settled in on CJ at the center and Ben at the guard and Corey at the guard and Big J at the tackle and, Kamal at the tackle. And then we lost Oscar, and the tight ends have settled back in now. We got those guys going. Receivers have been a patchwork all year long, but we think we got some guys healthy right now. And we're just playing better football right now.
And you were able to run the ball in November a lot more efficiently than in the first part of the season. Yeah,
we have. That's been a huge, huge deal to make us play better. And even the Army game, we didn't really feel like Army stopped us. They do a great job of playing defense with their offense. And, we had 2 turnovers that killed us. And then the penalties, which the 2 we had, were accurately called, but you just can't do those 2.
Looking at what you've done so far this week, getting back into a game week, and obviously it's a Monday instead of a Saturday. What's the mindset in practice, how people doing, and the excitement about going to this bowl game?
The kids have been great. You want to make it where it's still fun for them. You don't want it to be like, oh, crud, we made a bowl. I'll never forget, as a high school player, my coach, for whatever reason, the more games we won, the more 100-yard sprints we ran for conditioning. And I remember losing in round 4, and I thought to myself, thank God I don't have to run 4 extra 100s next week. And you shouldn't be that when you're playing in bonus time. So I really tried to make it where our kids are getting better, but they still enjoy coming to practice and they still want to be there. And so far the kids have exemplified that every day.
All right, a lot of people have asked me about this. There's several players on both teams that are going to be in the transfer portal or already are, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can't play in the bowl game. Kind of explain your method to that and how you're going to go, how you've asked the players to go about that for those that want to do that.
Yeah, I've kind of, my stance on that is just, I don't think it's the kids' fault that we put them in this position. The adults are the ones that have messed this up. I spoke on this today, we've got 2 calendars competing against each other. We have an academic calendar, because these kids got to finish their semester exams, and then they have a new semester to start in January for the guys that want to leave, right? But we also have the bowl calendar, which is football season still, and then you have the playoff calendar, which is football season, and both those run into the spring semester. So if you're a player, let's say somebody I recruited, they came in here, they're not getting to play, they want to go somewhere and play, then they have the right to get in the portal. Well, right now, they're taking official visits, and some of these schools are making them take official visits like during our bowl game. Right. So now the kid has to make a decision, do I go on my official visit to play for my next year's team and miss the bowl, but my current teammates were counting on me to be there. So I just think we put those kids in a hot mess. I've done my best to take each kid individually and just try to work through their schedule and maintain a football team that's preparing for a bowl game and hopefully, a win. I think each player knows how hard I'm trying to, give them an IEP, an individualized educational plan, while you're still in the middle of a competitive season. And it's very awkward.
And a lot of players have a lot of support in their community and at home, and others don't. And you mentioned that this week, that sometimes the only person in the room they can trust is you, and you're trying to do what's best for them as much as you can.
Yeah, we are. And the other piece of this is you have agents involved, that they don't get their money unless they can get their kid to go sign somewhere. So they're going to be highly motivated to shop these kids around so they can get their cut.
All right, this is kind of a true road game, even though it, I guess, technically is a neutral site game, but we're playing on their field, in their stadium, in the bowl game that they actually run. So if you win, is it a road win or is it a neutral site win?
I wouldn't care what you call it. If we can come home with a win, I'm just taking it, whatever that looks like.
What do you think about a game like that where you're basically playing on the other? It's a road game, but they call it a bowl game. It is kind of unique.
Yeah, I think it's an opportunity for us. It's the only thing we haven't gotten done this season. It's a true road game, and we've not done that. We've been undefeated at home. We've yet to win on the road. So if we would have won, everybody would have said it's a neutral site, didn't count. Well, now it's not neutral site. It's their stadium, their home field, and we have an opportunity to come back and win a road game, which I think would be a heck of a way to close out the last 8 weeks of the season.
Are you happy that the bowl game is before Christmas? Would you have preferred it after Christmas, or are you just happy to be playing in the postseason?
I'm glad it's before Christmas. I know my players want to get back home and be with their families for Christmas, so it's an 11 o'clock game as well, so we'll get through playing probably around 3. We'll probably be showered by 4:30, hopefully be on the plane by 5. You're back here by 8, you get an hour back, so they'll actually be at home, hopefully 8:30 o'clock, and then you're looking at Christmas Eve the next day, and Christmas. I think it's much better to play the game before Christmas.
All right, Jamori Robinson was the Defensive Player of the Year this year in the American Conference. Talk about his season and how proud you are of him.
Yeah, it's back-to-back for us to do that, which is pretty cool. Really excited how far he's come. Those first 6 weeks, he was heavy in penalties and doing some things that were not what he needed to be doing. And man, the last 6 to 8 weeks, he's played, almost spotless football.
How about the Army game? We haven't really recapped that a lot. A few people have, but you mentioned, I remember when we left there, how proud you were of the way the team played, even though the result wasn't what you wanted.
I can handle losing. I know nobody really believes that, but I can handle losing. It's just a certain way it's supposed to look. There's a certain way you're supposed to play. Now, when you play that way, most of the time you win, so you're never upset. But we played clean football that day on the road. I was really proud of how we played. There were a couple of execution errors that cost us the game, but Army does such a great job of keeping the football from you. You just don't get many chances. I didn't think we handled the cold real well. We had a few drop passes. I am concerned about that going to the bowl game because it's going to be chilly. And my players are all like, Coach, I thought we were going to a beach. And we're going to a cold beach.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to visit with Owen Pee-wee and Ben Rios coming up with our player guests. Every time the Roadrunners score a touchdown and make a 2-point conversion, it's an 8-point possession. And earlier this year, one lucky fan won $888 at the North Texas game. That was Tristan Belton. Go to goutsa.com/promotions for your chance to win $888 in the future, thanks to Wainwright, the official injury attorneys of UTSA Athletics. athletics. And if you'd like tickets to UTSA events, Texas Farm Bureau members can get tickets to men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball, and football games when you redeem online. Become a Texas Farm Bureau insurance member and visit goutsa.com/TFB tickets to learn more. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show from Chicken and Pickle on the UTSA Sports Network. To serve in our military is the official military appreciation sponsor. Tonight we're going to talk with Ben Rios, NO and Pee Wee. two UTSA stars in our Stars segment. And UT Health San Antonio is the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. See UT Health San Antonio's brightest minds are making lives better at WeMakeLivesBetter.org. The game against Coastal Carolina is at 10 o'clock Central Time on Monday morning, and we'll be on the air with the pregame coverage starting at 8. Ben Rios, left tackle for left guard for UTSA, joins us on the program. Welcome to the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, so how about you guys?
Very well. Jeff mentioned a little while ago, we have an offensive line that's basically played together for about 6 or 7 weeks now. That certainly helps, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, a great group of guys, and I'm just really fortunate to have some older veterans and leaders that just make my job a little bit easier. So
I remember a few years ago when you and DeAndre Marshall were recruited out of Central Catholic together and came to UTSA, how excited everybody was. And there were a few times where you get a little sparing play here and there, but you continued to work and continue to develop and grow up, and now this now into your, I guess, third seasons together, both getting a lot of opportunities to be a part of that offensive line.
Yes, sir, absolutely. I mean, I've just been, over these last 3 years, I've been fortunate enough to have, great coaches and great mentors that have just made me trust the process. And, I understand that the first 2 years I didn't really, see too much playing, but again, it's next man up mentality, and, fortunately for me, I got that opportunity and I just made the most of it. So.
Jeff, talk about Ben. I know you were excited to get him a few years ago, and you've really developed him, and he's developed himself.
We were. Ben was highly recruited coming out, and luckily he loves his family a lot, and he wanted to stay in the city, and which also allowed us to get DeAndre as well. Two really, really special kids. I tell him all the time, your greatest strength is always your greatest weakness. And Ben is such a caring, kind, he don't want to hear this, sweet kid that he had to get roughed up a little bit, a little edge to himself, and he's done that. He's got a gentle spirit, but he knows when he gets in those trenches, he's got to become a little bit more of the bulldog, and he's just done that. He's very intelligent. He's a really good athlete. The sky is the limit for Ben. He's just now starting to taste how good he can be, and I would predict he'll be an all-conference football player for us in the future.
All right, Ben, talk about that, because you are a good guy. People like to be around you. You're a good teammate, but when you're facing the other guy that doesn't like you very much, you gotta be a little bit violent sometimes.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I used to get called when I was a kid the BFG, the big friendly giant. Me and my teammate DeAndre Marshall. I've been with him since middle school, so we didn't really grow up with that whole rough in us. But I will say the one thing about UTSA is it's definitely taught me that there is a time and place that whatever happens on the field stays on the field.
Yeah.
One of my roommates, Ty Leonard. We my sophomore year, my freshman year, we went at it on the field. But the second we went off, it was just like we're roommates, best friends again. It's just knowing when is one thing that I've just been trying to instill in my mind. So
yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Ty is the other way, right? Greatest strength, greatest weakness. His nickname's Angry Bird. He's always angry at somebody, right? So I need a little of Ty into Ben. I need a little Ben into Ty.
There you go. Oh, you got two pretty good football players that are developing there as well.
He'll be all conference as well. Yeah. My word.
So talk about that transition, because every time I talk to a player about playing high school and then moving into college, there's a big learning curve. A lot bigger for some than others, but just kind of take us through what that learning curve was like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will say it is night and day, high school and college. I feel like any college athlete will say that. It's just most important, or the biggest difference is just, the commitment. You're going to find out real quick who's really invested in being the best they can be as an athlete, and who is, who's just happy to be there. And, when I came in, it was just, I live in San Antonio, so I'm very fortunate enough to see my family, but, some of these other guys aren't from San Antonio. They don't see their families too often. Most of their day is, around, a football. And the great athletes, even when they're not doing required stuff, they're most likely doing that extra work that's just going to give them that edge. And I will say the biggest difference was just getting that mentality of just, knowing my priorities and time management with school and sports, and, even trying to squeeze in some family. So, yeah, that was just the biggest change for me.
Yeah, I think Ben's also what needs to be celebrated for him is he's kind of following in the lineage of Rashad Wisdom, Frank Harris, Oscar Cardenas, of really great San Antonio football players that chose to stay here. I mean, Ben had other options, and he wanted to stay here. He wanted to be around his family. He has an amazing family. Most of them are here tonight to support him. I remember we recruited the family when we recruited Ben. I remember his sister being very integral in the part of this, and also the family's big, and I'm really grateful that he chose to stay here. And it makes it better when they're starting to have success. There's nothing worse when you recruit one, and getting through that process of getting to the other side is just exhausting. It's heartbreaking, but once they get there, you never forget how far they've come.
Take us through that recruiting process. What was it when you met Coach Traylor and met the staff and said, okay, I know I want to be in town and I want to stay close to my family and this is the place I want to be?
It was that great facility we were recruiting you out of. No, go ahead, man.
I think what it was initially was just they're very big family-oriented. You know, as he was saying, one thing that not many other schools did was like they actually took account to, the best way to win a recruit is really with, through their family. And one thing I really appreciated, if it was, my mother's birthday, they would get a text from a coach and they would wish my mom a happy birthday. Or, for me, when it was my birthday, they bought me a birthday cake on one of my visits. It's just like those little things of, they actually, made me, they won my family over very quick. And it was just things like that not many other schools did, and it meant a lot to me, outside of football, and it just all was just, great. It was a great package.
With the success UTSA's had the last couple of years, everybody looks at UTSA, especially local, about, it's been around forever, but it's only been around for 14 years, and you're still part of the building block of something that 100 years ago you're the foundation of. That's gotta be fun.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, being from San Antonio, I knew that, I wanted to stay. I wanted to represent not only my city, but, of course, like my family and the people that have helped me get to where I am today. And I think, it means a lot to be able to wear, and represent the 210 as someone from the 210. I mean, I take great pride in that, and, something that will live with me when I'm, 40, 50 years old. I can say, when UTSA is winning conference championships and when they're in a, just winning games, I can say, I was able to play that.
What's it like for you when you turn on TV and you see Spencer Burford or Sincere McCormick or some of UTSA player, Marcus Davenport, say their name and UTSA to follow that and know that you're part of that as well?
You take great pride in it. I mean, when I was in high school, I watched Spencer Buford. I think we, all offensive linemen, watched him. He was a great athlete and a great representation of a San Antonio kid playing for San Antonio. Yep. And, I hope to live, just be half the men that they are, just great men of character that are also just great athletes. And hopefully, I show that on the field as a great man, but also as a great player as well. So.
Awesome. Something else I've learned is, Central Catholic's got a lot of pride. I mean, everybody at Central Catholic's extremely proud of Ben and DeAndre, so that's been cool as well.
Awesome. Ben, thanks so much for being out here tonight. Best of luck against Coastal Carolina, and we'll look forward to seeing you doing your thing again next year on the offensive line.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me.
Good job, Ben.
That's Ben Rios, UTSA starting left guard, as we get ready for the bowl game. Compare HEB prices to any store. They check and compare thousands of prices on the things you use to gear up for the game so you can fill up your cart without emptying your wallet. When it comes to UTSA football, no store does more than your HEB, a proud supporter of UTSA athletics. And enjoy Bud Light while cheering on the runners. Bud Light is the official beer of UTSA athletics. Birds up, buds up all season long. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Vance Chicken and Pickle, delicious food, cold drinks and yard games, and pickleball for all. Chicken and Pickle at UTSA Boulevard and Vance Jackson. And this season, Roadrunner touchdowns mean more than 6 points for every touchdown UTSA scored at home this week. This year, the Texas Animal Defense League received $1,000 thanks to North Park Subaru. This season, North Park Subaru donated $29,000 to the Texas Animal Defense League thanks to 29 UTSA touchdowns in the Dome. It's North Park Subaru's TDs for charity. All right, our next player guest is part of our hero segment is Owen Pee-wee. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Very well. Take us through your season. You've had a couple of picks this year. One was in the Texas game, and you're looking pretty good back there with Danye and all the other guys at that money backer position.
Yes, sir. I just been grinding for real. I know I got a pretty good group, and I got a pretty good senior that's ahead of me.
Talk about this defense. Jamari Robinson got Player of the Year in the conference. What it's like to have guys like that, and Brandon Brown and those guys that can rush the quarterback. You do that too, but also when you're back in coverage, what those guys help you do?
They a leader. They lead. They make sure we are on point, and when we see them making plays, that just make us want to make them plays and help them make sure we all click together when we win.
Awesome. Jeff, talk about Owen Pee-wee and what he's meant to this defense this year and in the past as well.
Yeah, we recruited Owen hard. He was a kid that we really wanted. We spotted him when he was young, and we were very grateful to get Pee-wee. I'm a huge fan of his. That room of theirs is one of the most talented rooms on our team. They have been since we've been here. It started with Clarence Hicks, who passed it off to Dadrian Taylor, who passed it off to Danye Taylor, who's going to pass it off to Pee-wee, who's going to pass it off to Marcellus, who's going to pass it off to Bryce. We're really deep. And what's the best thing about that group, they call themselves the money backers, and they do a great job of being on the sideline. If they're not out there together, we try to get them out there together on dime package and nickel packages, but on the base downs when they're rotating, they do a fantastic job of being involved, watching themselves, their teammate play, and I can hear them behind me literally if the call's made, coaching the guy on the field what they should have done.
Talk about that group, and where'd you guys come up with the money backer term?
We came up with that because we know when it's time for them big plays we make, that's when we
Gonna make money.
Gonna make the money, right? Whose idea was it? Was it a collective group, or did somebody come up with it first and everybody agree?
I feel like it was Coach Brown's idea.
Yeah, it was Zach and Clarence Hicks, and it's just been going down through the years.
Yeah. Talk about that legacy of that position. When it started with Clarence Hicks, and now it's going to be passed on to you next year. That's a pretty good company to be in.
Yes, sir. I know it's a pretty big position to be in, but I feel like I'm ready for it. I've been working for 3 years now. I've been here, so I feel like I'm ready for it.
And also, I'll say this: you got to remember, he was also voted into a single digit.
Yeah.
As an underclassman, as somebody rotating, shows you how much respect his teammates have for Pee-wee.
All right. So where'd you learn that to gain that respect of your teammates, and your thoughts on getting that honor and wearing number 9?
Really just getting close to them for real. Just being on the field with them, just talking to them, helping them with the plays, making sure we all do everything right, do the 111, and just gain their trust.
I was reading something in your bio that I did not know until I saw this. You originally grew up or were born in Africa, in Liberia. What do you remember about that before you came to the United States?
I don't really remember pretty much, but...
How old were you when you came?
Like 6 years old.
Okay. You have any recollection or memories of that, or has it just been what you've done in the United States?
I know I was in school when I was in Africa. I know I hated it though.
Okay. You didn't like it at all?
Did you like it? Did you like school in America?
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Well, that's good. Speaking of school, what are you doing in school at UTSA?
Right now, I'm in multiple business right now, and right now I'm really just trying to get my degree for real.
That's awesome. Okay, take us through this bowl week. You get the extra game, and this is also some extra practices to get ready for next year as well. So what are you working on and preparing as you get ready for Coastal Carolina?
Trying to watch some film, trying to get in with Coach Brown right now, and trying to make sure we get the win.
Okay, this team got off to a slow start this year. Not necessarily the defense's fault or offense's fault or whatever, but take us through the month of November. 3-5, it's not looking great, and all of a sudden the switch flips, and all of a sudden you're a bowl eligible team.
Yes, sir. I always knew our guys was gonna strive for greatness. We always work hard. We always make sure we finish hard too. We never give up. So I knew it was gonna be good.
Talk about, Jeff, what you see from him in the future. I know you are very high with what Ben's future is, and obviously we're going to have Pee Wee Owen around here for a little bit longer as well.
Yeah, look, all these guys have got somebody in their ear trying to tell them they should go somewhere else, and I mean, and like I've said before, agents have a lot to do with that because they want to get some of these kids money, and I'm like, you don't have to deal with it. You can deal straight with me. We can cut that other percentage out of there, right? So I really feel like I knew with Ben. I think Pee Wee's going to be an all-conference player, and I tell him all the time, he can go somewhere else, and they'll promise him all that stuff, and he'll be a guy, or he can stay here. He knows he's going to be the guy for me. So I expect Pee Wee to lead us. We don't have a ton of guys back on defense, so he's going to have a huge role in leading this young group. And we got some young D linemen back, but he's going to have to lead a lot of young people. And I've got great confidence Pee Wee can do that.
Owen, talk about your future. And the culture here that's been built. What makes this so special?
Yeah, this is special to me because I'm right down the street. I'm in Houston, and I always been watching them since I was in high school, just watching the San Antonio, the 2-0 culture and everything. And when I came down for my visit, they always were just talking about it, preaching it, and teaching me since I've been down here. And when I came down here, it's been that since day one.
Awesome. Owen, thanks so much for being out here. Good luck in the bowl game against Coastal, and can't wait to see you making more plays next year as well.
Great job, Pee Wee.
Awesome. That's Owen Pee Wee, UTSA money backer, one of those out there on the edge making some big plays for the Roadrunners. Hey fans, thanks to BMW, one lucky fan won the ultimate home game weekend at the Alamo Dome. Congratulations to Nicole Salazar of San Antonio. She enjoyed the Runners' win over Temple and cruising in a new BMW X7. Visit GoUTSA.com/promotions as BMW will have an ultimate weekend in basketball this season as well. And save time after the game by ordering Taco Cabana online at TacoCabana.com or on the MyTC loyalty app. Sign up for great rewards and exclusive offers only at Taco Cabana. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show from Chicken and Pickle on the UTSA Sports Network. Coastal Carolina next Monday in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. And again, we'll be on the air at 8 a.m. San Antonio time. And the kickoff will be at 10 o'clock. It's 11 if you're going to the game because they're on the East Coast. All right, in Coastal Carolina, UTSA's never played them. Let's talk about the Chanticleers. What are they like this year?
They started out the season very hot. They were 3-0, and then they lost to Virginia, a P4 team, 3-1, and then they got on a little bit of a slump. Well, they lost about 4 games in a row, and they've won, 2 to get in the bowl game, obviously, here late, beat Georgia Southern the last game of the year to qualify, and they're like us. They've had a few kids get in the portal. It's just kind of hard to prepare for all that. You don't know who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. The way I would consider these games would be like it's the first game of the year.
Right.
Well, y'all not even quite sure what we're going to look like because I've been historically known for maybe not being totally transparent in what our lineup's going to be for the bowl game. And so you don't know what we're going to look like. We don't know what they're going to look like. So I'd say it's like the first game of the year. That's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, the first game of the year, everybody's hiding stuff. Until something's on film, nobody knows what you're going to do, and now you're kind of, in some ways, kind of starting over after a 3-week layoff.
Well, we've all had 3 weeks to change some stuff on offense, change some stuff on defense, maybe add a few wrinkles in the special teams, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing. A lot of those guys I've known for a long time. They're really good coaches. They're at home. They're a proud program. I think this is their 5th year in a row to be a bowl as well. So you got 2 really proud programs playing on their home field.
Regardless of who their quarterback is, what do they like to do offensively? What's their tendencies there?
They've got some option game to them out of the shotgun. They've got, some just old school passing concepts, very much like the ones we run as well. Got a really good running back, a couple of very talented wide receivers. The quarterback, we've seen him play some. He's got a really good arm. Was a very good high school quarterback, and defensively they're very athletic. They're very aggressive. Craig Niver is a friend of mine, the coordinator, and he does a really good job. And they'll apply pressure and play some man in the back, but they'll mix up their coverages as well.
All right, it is a bowl game, and typically we think of bowl games as these exotic places to go, and Myrtle Beach usually is that, especially if you like the beach or you like golf, but it's going to be 55 and not so nice.
Well, I hope it's 55. That'd be nice.
You take 55 right now.
I would take 55. I'm just, again, if you'd have told me in October we were going to any bowl, I told y'all if they told me to go to HEB in the parking lot, we'd have showed up. So we're just glad to be going somewhere and playing, and we're not going to complain about anything.
Our drives of the game each week are brought to you by Goodwill, and let's talk about, first of all, the Army game and go back to that. Was there a drive that stood out in that game that you were most proud of, the way the team handled whatever it was, adversity, or how you executed the game?
No, there's more like 2 drives that I can't get over, like the one right before halftime and the 2-minute drive. Those 2 drives to me were the death of that game. But a very positive part of the game was coming out of the 3rd quarter to take the lead, 4th down and 1, and the screen pass we threw to Devin McEwen. He makes the guy miss, gets the touchdown, and had momentum, and then we didn't finish it out.
It sure makes a difference when Devin's on the field and playing well and healthy.
Yeah, having him and Davey out there together has been really nice, and I hope we can get Willie up and running again. He's been battling injury all year, so it'd be nice if we could get our 3 guys we thought, but Chris Carpenter didn't play in that game, Robert Henry didn't play in that game, and we're hoping those guys will be back for the bowl. We'll find out.
All right, overall this year, and you look back as we continue with that drives theme, what were some of the big drives of the season that you think kind of defined this season, and especially the positive parts of it when you were winning games, especially in November?
Oh, probably just the way we had answered people. The North Texas game where those guys had gained momentum. We went back and answered. The Memphis game, the drive right before halftime. There was just some of those that were, just huge drives for us. And those will be the ones. FAU after 2 critical turnovers, and Owen takes us right down the field right before halftime. Those are, mental toughness at its finest with a bunch of young players. I mean, those guys are all young. They're all going to be back next year. And I'm really excited to watch. We're losing CJ, which is a big loss at center. We can always move Ben there, or if Luke Lopez comes back, we can do either way there. Obviously, we lost Oscar, but we replaced them with a lot of those young tight ends. We've got to replace Willie and Chris, but hopefully Devin and David can stay healthy next year. And obviously Robert Henry will be a big loss at tailback, but we like our young backs as well, and our quarterback's back for 2 more years. So we should be really good on offense next year.
I thought in the Army game, you needed to get the ball back to have one last chance. And unfortunately, you got the pick to end the game. But the stop that you made at the 20-yard line, because you knew they were going for it on 3rd down and 4th down, and that's what the Army does. And you were down to all your timeouts, and you had to have a stop, and you got it.
Yeah, it was picture perfect. And hindsight being 2020, we probably should have just checked the ball down. But Owen, put a ball right on the kid, and it just popped straight up, and their safety got it. And that's thanks, Andy. Appreciate you bringing that back up.
I had to remind you. But I just thought the defensive stand was the better part there, because everybody in the world knows that Army's going to run the ball, and they're usually successful at it.
Yeah, our defense was fantastic. They had great attitudes, had great control of their emotions. We were just a disciplined football team. We looked like what I wanted to look like the whole year. It just took us the last 6 weeks to get there.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to the last segment in the bowl week ahead and what to experience in Myrtle Beach, and all of that coming up in the final segment in just a bit. On behalf of UTSA Athletics and our military appreciation partner, USAA, would like to take a moment to thank all service members, veterans, and their families listening today for your service and sacrifice. USAA, serving the military community and their families since 1922. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Winners basketball, baseball, and football games when you redeem online. Visit GoUTSA.com and register today /TFB tickets when you go on there and learn how you can get tickets to games at UTSA. UTSA is going to have a big announcement tomorrow, the groundbreaking for the basketball and volleyball practice facilities out on campus as well. We'll tell you all about that later on this week when we visit with Dr. Lisa Campos before the game coming up against South Carolina against Coastal Carolina. I know he got injured last night, but how proud of you were you to see Sincere McCormick playing for the Raiders last night?
Yeah, he was playing really well until his injury. They weren't giving him much to work with. But what he had to do with, he did all he could do with it. What an unbelievable catch he made on the sideline. I just hated seeing it, man. That hurts.
Yeah, it absolutely does. All right, you're going to go leave on Thursday for bowl week, and
I haven't even looked that far yet. I mean, I know I got practice in the morning, 8:30. It's a shell workout, so we're going to thump it around again tomorrow. And it frustrates Carrie because she always asks me, like, what does 3 days look like or 5 days look like? And I literally live in the moment, and I don't know what's going on past the end of my nose right now. So Andrew's got all that planned out. Obviously, we met on that at the beginning of the week. The bowl has an itinerary for you. I just know that I was told to be in my San Antonio tuxedo Thursday night when I get there. So I'll have my blue jeans, my starch jeans, my boots, my jacket, and my white hat ready to roll.
That's absolutely it. Representing the 210. We had 12 players on this team that at one point in the season had season-ending injuries. They have been a big part of UTSA's history in the time that they've been here. Some will be back next year, some will not. But to have them, I guess, also celebrate this is pretty big as well, because many of them, I think of Oscar Cardenas, is going to live in UTSA lore and legacy for a long time.
Yeah, Oscar's going. Some of them can't because of their surgeries. Some of them are actually just had surgery today. Some are having it coming up the next couple of days, but the rest of them will be going. So we'll all be there if they can be there. And we still got some classes we got to pass, so hopefully they'll all be eligible and on that plane.
All right, how soon do you start thinking about 2025 and building a roster, and do you get the bowl game out of the week and then kind of decompress for a day or two? Because Texas A&M is on August 30th next year, and that's the next calendar date after this game.
There's no decompressing. I mean, you're recruiting your own roster every day. I mean, you got to recruit the guys coming in. It's until we get this calendar cleaned up, it's the 365, 24/7. It's just what it is. I'm sure I'll be on the phone on Christmas talking to some recruit or trying to make sure one of my players doesn't listen to one of his agents.
It's kind of weird, isn't it? Did you ever think you'd experience this when you, got into coaching, period, but even 5 years ago when you got to UTSA?
None of us could have predicted this. There's just it's just no way. That's why you need to be grateful for the guys that they do the right thing. You know, you need to be grateful for those guys. And again, I want to push back that we're the ones that did this to the kids. The kids didn't ask for this. We're the ones that did this to them.
Yeah, I was listening to something Rhett Lashley said at SMU, and he kind of echoed a lot of the things that you did. He doesn't like the November portal, or the December portal, the December signing period, but the other school wants that player to be there in school in January and in spring practice. So there's all kinds of people pulling and pushing on the athletes.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like coaches are just complaining, but we're just trying to explain what we're all going through right now. And it's mind-boggling that we're trying to prepare for a game, but yet 9 or 10 of our guys are out doing official visits somewhere else to get their next place ready to go.
Yeah.
And I know that, like I tell my guys all the time, they're dealing with it. Tim Beck's dealing with it at Coastal. Jeff Traylor's dealing with it at UTSA. Whoever deals with it the best has the best chance to win the ball game. We got to handle that the best.
I think most of the fans that I talk to talk about UTSA's culture and what you built here and the players that you've recruited, as good a character guys as you can get. And sometimes when the tough gets going, they fall back on that culture and that character, as you say, to do the right things, whether it's the right thing for them or the right thing for their teammates.
We have, but let's don't kid ourselves. Our 210 City fans, 210inspired.org, if we weren't putting some money in these kids' pocket,
Right.
I mean, they would not stay here just for culture. Now, they're not getting rich here, but they're getting at least something that can help them down the road a little bit. So we can't overlook that. Yeah, culture does matter. There's no doubt. But our boosters that have given so faithfully through the years also deserve a lot of that credit for our guys that stayed behind.
And we got a lot of really good fan support. Many are here tonight. Many already have plans to go to South Carolina this week at some point. And I know that you always want to make sure that they're given the credit that they get as well.
Their laurel is had. I say it all the time, though. Whatever our record is, the same 20,000 that are always there will always be there.
Right.
It's the extra 25 that show up when we're rolling. That base 20,000, those guys are rock solid no matter what we do. Now, I know they want to win, but they're going to be loyal to whatever's going on. They were here way before I got here, and they'll be here way after I'm gone.
JJ, I know I asked you a question the other day about recruiting, and I heard that your answer was, I'm not going to win the fake recruiting battle. I'm going to get players I know can help us and plug the holes that I know we need help at.
Yeah, I know a lot of coaches that have won a lot of fake recruiting championships that are fired right now.
Presidents and boosters really like that, though, don't they?
Yeah, I'm just not I'd rather be going to bowls every year and winning championships, and y'all can have all y'all's fake recruiting awards.
That's all right. All right, keys to the game against Coastal Carolina, as much as you know, knowing what you don't know about them.
Yeah, I think defensively, I think they're going to try to establish their running game. They believe in running the football. How do we hold up in the run? Offensively, what are we going to look like after a month? I mean, how sharp are we going to be? And the special teams, just that. You got a bunch of different players out there on both sides of the ball. That's usually where that shows up the most. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see which group handles the special teams the best in this bowl game.
You had Tate Sandell kick some big field goals for you this year, and kicking off, he's gotten most of them into the end zone.
It's going to be cold and windy, so that I don't think every ball is going to go in. I think you'll see more returns in this game than you're used to seeing just because of the weather.
All right, Jeff, thanks as always. Thanks for the entire season, and we'll look forward to the bowl game this week and then late August next year to do this again.
Thanks, Andy. All the people I had to deal with, you were by far the most positive one in a tough season, and I'm very grateful for that. God bless.
I'll keep that going as well. All right, that's Jeff Traylor, and that'll wrap things up for tonight's program. Again, we're on the air on Monday morning at 8 a.m. for the Credit Human pregame show, and the kickoff just after 10 from Conway, South Carolina, where Coastal Carolina is, and on the campus of Coastal Carolina, the Myrtle Beach Bowl.